Hello, this is Mr. Armstrong. Chapter 5, the Quadratic Formula. The quadratic formula is yet another way to find the real roots of a quadratic. So far, we have focused on either factoring or completing the square. This is the third method that we can use to find the real roots. First off, let's copy down the formula. X equals negative b plus and minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. At any time you need to pause your computer, you should do that so you can copy down the given notes. So on the left-hand side, a good time to pause your computer, we should copy down the 5 steps. And on the right-hand side, I have an example. We have f of x equals negative x squared minus 4x plus 2. Step 1, take the quadratic and set it equal to 0. Step 2, identify the a coefficients. A here is negative 1, b is negative 4, and c is 2. We take those values and we carefully substitute them into the quadratic formula. You should be stating this quadratic formula out loud and writing it down as you go, and you will memorize it quicker. X equals negative b plus and minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. We take the values and substitute them in very carefully. Pay attention to your signs as you go. We perform the calculation. Double negative 4 is 4, plus and minus. Negative 4 squared is 16, minus 4 times 1 times 2 is going to give me positive 8. Added to 16 is 24 under the radical. And 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Step 4, we simplify this radical. We think of multiples of 24. 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, and 4 times 6. Which of those 4 pairs of numbers has a perfect square? Correct. Radical 4 and radical 6. The square root of 4 will reduce to 2 radical 6. The last thing we do is we attempt to take the denominator and divide it into both numerators. 4 and 2 are both divisible by negative 2, which will give us the solution that x equals negative 2 plus and minus radical 6. So we have wound up with 2 real, irrational, and unequal roots, which means that the original quadratic was not factorable. So we could only do it through completing the square or the quadratic formula. For this purpose, we were using the quadratic formula. On the next page, I have 2 more examples. So you should pause your computer and try both these examples, identify A, B, and C, pop them into the quadratic formula, and then check your work when you're done. Commentary about these 2 solutions. On the left-hand side, we have attained 2 real, irrational, and unequal roots, which means that this quadratic was not factorable. While over here, we've attained 2 real, rational, and unequal roots, which means that this quadratic could have been factored. So we're starting to come up with different approaches to solving these quadratics. So at this point in time, we should always try to factor as the easiest approach. And if not, we can go with completing the square, or for today's purpose, the quadratic formula. Come on in for extra help if you have further questions. Take care.